faithfully sharing insights and exploring great books worldwide.
Hello, this is Sally Talks Books.
Today, we're diving into the book Stop Feeling Like Shit. The subtitle is A Manual for Sorting Out Negative Emotions. In life, we inevitably face setbacks and experience various negative emotions. People usually think that negative emotions stem from specific unhappy events, like arguing with a partner or getting criticized by a boss. But the author Andrea Owen believes that hidden bad thinking habits behind these events are the real culprits for negative emotions. Owen is a renowned American speaker and life coach. She also runs her own online community, offering emotional guidance. Owen herself once hit rock bottom due to a series of blows like a breakup and job loss. She felt life had no joy, she was worthless, and kept asking, "How did I end up here? How could I be so foolish?" Later, Owen spent years in therapy and realized that bad thinking habits were what made her unhappy. She also found that many people, especially women, suffer from these habits. Some feel good short term, but cause more pain long term. For example, perfectionism gives a sense of control, but also breeds anxiety and conflicts. The habit of people pleasing wins external approval, but makes it hard to say no, leading to struggle and pain. To eliminate negative emotions, we must bravely confront bad habits, identify and handle them while opening our hearts to self-care. That's how we find true freedom and peace. In this book, Owen draws on her coaching experience to deeply analyze a range of bad thinking habits. After publication, it was translated into 18 languages and got high reader ratings on Amazon in the UK and US. I've picked the most common and impactful habits from the book, grouping them into three types: lack of confidence, fear of failure, and suppressed emotions. Next, I'll explain each type's forms, causes, and solutions. First, let's cover the first bad thinking habit: lack of confidence. We'll focus on three manifestations. The first is self-criticism. Self-critical people always think they're not good enough in personality, appearance, or work, constantly nitpicking themselves and feeling like their life is a mess. Even if someone thinks they're great, self-critics will dismiss it as polite flattery, not genuine. Self-critics also compare themselves to friends, colleagues, or anyone else, thinking they're too fat, lazy, or unhappy compared to them. Some people rationally know these self-criticisms aren't true, but can't help thinking them, leading to persistent self-doubt and shame. The author believes self-criticism has two common sources. One is the family of origin. Many parents are keen on criticizing their children, making them feel they're never good enough. A woman named Heather told the author that her mother was very focused on appearance. From a young age, her mother dressed her in different clothes, changed her hairstyles, and demanded she become prettier. This made Heather also care deeply about her appearance, always self-criticizing over trivial matters. She often thinks she needs to be slimmer and reduce wrinkles, or else she's not good enough. The second source of self-criticism is societal culture. In modern society, people always like to rank others, comparing things like graduation schools, appearance, and income. Those ranked high are praised, while those ranked low are looked down upon. Under this cultural influence, people get used to comparing themselves to others from a young age, easily leading to self-criticisms like, "I'm not good enough." And moreover, the author believes that many big companies profit by making women feel inadequate. Ads tell women they're not pretty, slim, or safe enough, urging them to buy products to ease these anxieties. Well, this also creates a culture that criticizes women, making them feel flawed. How to stop the habit of self-criticism. The author thinks we need to learn to recognize self-criticism and engage in kind self-dialogue. Specifically, you can take a piece of paper and list different areas of life like work, health, intimate relationships, etc. Then think about what self-criticisms you have in these areas. Write them down and also list specific events that trigger self-criticism.
If someone criticizes themselves as worthless over small mistakes at work, causing anxiety and pain.
He can list some work mistakes as triggering events. For example, failing to complete work on time or having typos in submitted documents. One,
Others follow many influencers' social media accounts, where influencers often flaunt their lives, like traveling abroad or showing off with partners, which also triggers comparison, making people feel their lives aren't happy enough.
so browsing these accounts also counts as a triggering event. Next, you need to think about which of these triggering events you can avoid. For example, the advice for those influencer accounts is to unfollow directly and not torture yourself with others' lives. Number one, as for triggering events that can't be completely avoided, when they reappear and trigger self-criticism, you need to use kind self-dialogue to avoid drowning in self-criticism and causing more negative emotions. You can imagine self-criticism as a person and say to them, I know you're talking, but I'm not listening, or I don't want to torture myself because of you, so I choose to ignore you. You can also imagine how you'd comfort a good friend in the same situation and use the same words to comfort yourself, insisting on using kind self-dialogue instead of self-criticism. We can learn to care for ourselves and gradually overcome the second manifestation of self-criticism and lack of confidence called imposter syndrome. Similar sources for imposter syndrome are also critical families of origin and societal culture. This makes some people, despite being capable and achieving real accomplishments, attribute their success to luck, relationships, or other external reasons, seeing themselves as nothing but frauds. They fear being exposed one day. This thinking habit not only appears in studies and work, but also in intimate relationships. For instance, a woman named Karen has been with her boyfriend for 15 years. She knows he likes her, but she worries that one day he'll discover she's not as good as imagined and break up with her. Then you shake. To overcome imposter syndrome, the author suggests people learn to affirm their successes and reduce self-doubt through self-recognition.
We can make a list of achievements for ourselves, writing down what we've accomplished.
From passing exams to landing a job or getting a promotion, all count. We also need to write down why we achieved these goals. Don't explain it as good luck or others' guidance. Clearly state that these accomplishments came from our own inherent abilities. For example, I got into college because I studied hard, or I got promoted because I'm meticulous. This helps us see our true worth. For this achievement list, consider another angle. If you were truly an imposter, how could you fool so many people? After serious thought, we'd realize it's impossible for a worthless person to accomplish so much. This boosts confidence in our real abilities. The third manifestation is disaster anxiety, which the author herself experiences. Her children are happy and healthy, her marriage is fulfilling, and her career thrives. But she often can't help thinking these good things won't last and will suddenly end someday.
She imagines her child being diagnosed with cancer or kidnapped, worries about sudden death, even plans her own funeral.
In the author's view, those lacking confidence struggle to fully embrace joy. They fear they don't deserve good things and dread losing them, inviting more pain. This often stems from past insufficient love and validation, leaving them questioning their worth. For them, anxiety and self-criticism feel familiar, while happiness feels alien and unsettling. For this situation, the author offers two suggestions. The first suggestion is practicing gratitude for the present. Daily life holds countless subtle moments worth appreciating. When walking with a loved one, playing with a pet, or hearing a child's laugh, sincerely give thanks to feel happiness. If disaster anxiety surfaces, fearing it'll vanish, refocus on gratitude for the present moment. By repeatedly practicing gratitude, people ease fears of imagined disasters and gradually grow accustomed to joy. The second suggestion is to ask close friends why they like you, expressing others' love and affirmation. This will boost your confidence, helping you believe you deserve good things. It also brings happiness itself, helping you gradually adapt to this state. We've covered the three manifestations of lack of confidence. Now let's discuss the second bad thinking habit, fear of failure. Its first manifestation is perfectionism. To some, failure is unacceptable. If others discover you can't do something well or have flaws, you'll lose attention, approval, and be abandoned.
To escape failure's consequences, they demand perfection in every aspect. The best job.
The slimmest figure and top performing kids. Perfectionism brings achievements but not happiness. Perfectionists constantly worry about imperfections, causing failure, leading to endless anxiety and exhaustion. Moreover, perfectionists crave strong control. If they can't control everyone and everything, they fear accidents will cause failure. Some perfectionist bosses hover over employees, micromanaging tasks. Perfectionist parents monitor children's every move. Food, clothing, homework, demanding compliance. But everyone craves self-control, so perfectionist behavior inevitably causes arguments and conflict.
The author believes perfectionism stems largely from family backgrounds. Some parents are perfectionists themselves.
To them, imperfect children who fail are unworthy of love.
Others have exceptional siblings. They must overachieve to avoid failure and match that attention. To break free, perfectionists can do two things. First, weigh perfectionism's costs and benefits. Ask, if you fail in some area, what real consequences would follow? You might get criticized by your boss for poor work or judged for your body shape. That's painful, but it might not cause real harm. Then let's consider the actual costs perfectionism has made us pay. For example, becoming a workaholic for career success leads to health issues, or constant family conflicts from overcontrol. Through comparison, many find perfectionism's costs outweigh its benefits. After realizing this, perfectionists can do the following. The second thing is allowing yourself to relax and do imperfect things. List areas where your perfectionism is strongest. Then do something imperfect in each. In academics, allow yourself not to be top every time. In health, allow skipping workouts occasionally and eating what you want. You'll find imperfect performance brings no unbearable consequences, just more relaxation and joy. This helps free us from fear of failure and perfectionism obsession. The second manifestation of fear of failure is overachievement. Some define self-worth solely by accomplishments. Failing at one task equals failing as a person.
So they compulsively do more, stacking achievements for security.
A woman named Karen has been with her boyfriend 15 years. She knows he loves her, but fears he'll discover she's inadequate and leave. Overachievement's roots resemble perfectionism. Children of overachievers often develop the habit.
Overachievers can't peacefully enjoy the present. They're always planning the next task.
If an overachiever accepts a proposal, they immediately plan the wedding instead of savoring the joyful moment. Moreover, overachievers habitually multitask, believing it yields more accomplishments. But attention is limited. Difficult tasks require sustained focus. Spreading attention reduces efficiency and increases errors. How can we break free from overachievement? The author believes the key is changing our view of failure. We don't need to tie failure to self-worth or see it as self-denial. We can shift perspective. View failure as a stepping stone to success, not the final destination. No one in this world is immune to failure. Even tennis legend Roger Federer doesn't win every match, and Steve Jobs didn't succeed with every product. What matters is reflecting on failure, learning from it to achieve future success. Thus, failure itself gains value. After changing their view, overachievers reduce anxiety and naturally slow their frantic pace. At this stage, the author suggests considering what matters most to you. Choose top priorities, like health and relationships. Focus there. Succeeding in these areas builds self-worth and dispels fear of failure. The third manifestation of fear of failure is refusing to ask for help. We live in a hyper-connected society. Phones instantly link us globally.
Yet, when facing difficulties, people rarely seek help.
Many told the author their first instinct when struggling is to hide. If forced to meet others,
They pretend everything's fine.
The author believes this habit stems from past failures in seeking help. Some who sought help were ignored, blamed, or further hurt. A woman named Rachel told the author about age 11, injured and in pain, but no one believed her suffering was real. It turned out she needed surgery. This made Rachel believe no one cared, so asking for help would repeat that failure. Thus, she decided never to share her pain with anyone. The author warns that while refusing help avoids potential harm, the isolation itself causes damage. It robs us of healthier relationships, leaving us lonely, helpless against life's challenges. The author believes that, in the long run, it's worth risking failure to seek help. Even if it might hurt, by persisting, we'll find trustworthy people to rely on and experience genuine care and support. This doesn't mean sharing your pain randomly. Find someone who understands you. The book calls them compassionate witnesses, abbreviated as witnesses.
But witnesses' key trait is genuine empathy.
They set aside their own views to understand the other's true feelings. For instance, a woman confides about marriage problems. Some might dismiss it from their perspective. It's no big deal. My husband and I are divorcing, or suggesting counseling. Neither shows empathy. A witness invites details, listens, holds hands, and says, "I'm sorry you're going through this." Their goal isn't fixing problems, but offering understanding through listening, healing pain while clarifying emotions and needs for motivation. If needed, witnesses can also offer advice. How to find such witnesses? Observe friends' communication styles to identify empathetic listeners. Ask a trusted friend, "Today I'll share a hardship. Just listen and hug me afterward. No advice. Can you?" Friends who agree and comply are qualified witnesses. We've covered fear of failure's 3 manifestations. Next, the third bad thinking habit, suppressing emotions. We'll focus on 2 forms. First, numbing negative emotions. Stress, anxiety, fear, which cause discomfort. So many instinctively distract themselves, self-numbing, to avoid facing them. In her 30s, when stressed, the author craved alcohol to numb thoughts. Similarly, eating, shopping, gambling, or overworking can become numbing tactics. Beyond resistance to pain, cultural factors also lead people to numb negative emotions. In American culture, expressing negative emotions is seen as hysterical, irrational emotionalism that makes others uncomfortable. Women are often taught from childhood by parents to appear strong and avoid emotionality when facing problems. In this cultural environment, women learn to handle negative emotions through numbing, viewing it as strength. While numbing provides short-term relief, long-term it causes more problems. Emotional pain is like physical pain, a warning sign. For example, daily work unhappiness may signal job mismatch. A wife's anger toward her husband may indicate their relationship needs improvement. Meanwhile, numbing tactics create new issues: alcoholism, binge eating, credit card debt. Eventually, these compound like a snowball. So the right approach is accepting emotions, exploring root causes, and struggling toward change. Through this, people gain wisdom and strength to improve their lives. The author introduces methods to help people accept negative emotions.
Here we focus on 3. First, redefining strength.
Many women view showing negative emotions as weakness, creating strong resistance. To overcome this, the author says we must rethink what strength means. Strength means facing problems without crumbling, using courage to persevere. Pretending everything's fine while ignoring emotions isn't strength, it avoids solving problems. True strength is willingly opening our hearts to anger, disappointment, fear, acknowledging them as part of life, and bravely solving the underlying issues. Understanding this reduces women's psychological burden in expressing emotions. The second method for accepting emotions is trusting them. People fear facing negativity will trap them in endless pain, but this is exaggerated fear of the unknown.
In reality, no one's life worsens by accepting negative emotions, but numbing them causes more harm.
We must trust that our emotions have meaning. They're warnings of underlying issues. Those who stop self-numbing and face emotions ultimately improve their lives. Accepting negative emotions. The third method, releasing emotions appropriately. Acceptance won't harm us, but the process brings discomfort. We need to release emotions first to focus on root causes. The author suggests choosing an undisturbed day to confront painful memories or issues. Don't try to solve emotions, just release them through crying, screaming, or punching pillows. If non-harmful, use a compassionate witness to share pain. Releasing emotions heals trauma and deepens self-understanding for better problem solving. The second manifestation of suppressed emotions, people-pleasing. Pleasers seem kind-hearted. They want others happy, eagerly help with others' problems, and shoulder all burdens, yet suffer deeply. They constantly suppress feelings. Even when requests upset them, they can't refuse and force themselves to comply. The author believes people-pleasing stems from childhood upbringing. Parents normally make requests, like being polite, studying hard, or staying quiet.
But some turn it transactional, showing love and approval only when children meet demands.
Children from such homes believe their worth depends on others' opinions. If they fail to satisfy requests, they feel unworthy of love. This makes them avoid expressing feelings, fearing rejection will anger others. To stop people-pleasing, the author says the key is learning to set boundaries. Boundaries define what's acceptable and unacceptable in our lives. Having boundaries means being able to say no to others' requests and no longer taking responsibility for their comfort. We need to realize we're independent individuals. Our worth isn't determined by others' judgments, and others have their own feelings and thoughts. As independent beings, we can't control what others think.
If they're upset by our refusal, that's their issue to solve.
It's not our responsibility. Setting boundaries doesn't mean being cold. We can communicate our boundaries in a friendly way. Suppose your boss assigns tasks without enough time, forcing weekend overtime.
Start by saying you're honored to handle important work. This sets a friendly tone.
Then, share your true feelings. Let your boss know how overload affects you negatively. Explain that constant weekend work causes exhaustion, poor focus, and more errors.
Finally, state your needs clearly. Don't vaguely say, "I hope you reduce my workload." Be specific about what you require.
For example, when assigning projects, allow at least 2 weeks. Positive communication sets boundaries. This leads to a more independent, fulfilling life, free from others' control. With this, we've nearly covered how to stop feeling like shit. The author reminds us that changing any habit is hard. Many have been with us for years. When stopping these habits, unfamiliarity may cause anxiety and fear. But this discomfort is temporary. With courage to change and consistent practice, you'll build beneficial new habits for a freer, fuller life. Well, how to stop feeling like shit? That concludes our discussion. Reading notes are below the audio. See you next time.